Hey guys, what's going on? I thought I would drop in here and run through some issues with this John Deere TerrainCut 1585 that we've been having. We've got two of these units that have been acting up on us over the years, and we've never been able to figure out what the heck is going on with them. And we've dropped a lot of money into them, and I'm going to explain here at the end of the video what we've found that costs a fraction of what we put into it all the way around. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Got the unit here. I've got it opened up for us here right now. I mean, to kind of just give you a run through of this machine, it's a good machine. Especially once you figure out what the frick is going on with this thing. But this machine runs all over town for us. I mean, we live in a smaller city. In a normal pickup truck, I mean, you can get across town from our shop in about 15 minutes, and we're pretty central. So this machine goes all night with the operator, just walking site to site, all over town, and it works quite efficiently for us. I mean, we've got the bristle broom here attached in the front right now. In the back of the unit, we've got the blade. We do actually have a rhino blower too for the lighter snow, so that's quite handy when we're looking at light snow on the sidewalks. Let's just call it an inch and under. But going from the top, once we had these issues here, I don't know, it kind of led us down a rabbit hole. And like I said, it was on both machines. This one's the newer machine I have brought in here right now. It's the 2022 1585, and so to start off, we're experiencing the first issues here was last winter-ish, and this thing would just blow a ton of white smoke out the back here. And the operator would report that, we've got loss of power, lots of smoke coming out, don't know the issue, what's going on with it. Obviously, some fears start to settle in, and we think the worst, right? And ironically enough, it was actually the older unit that had the issues to begin with, and this newer one that we had wasn't really starting to give us any grief at the time, and we went down the rabbit hole in that older unit. So there was I guess a call out after that shift to John Deere and our rep, and we took it into the dealership, and they said, yeah, like, we think on this older unit here you've got a scored cylinder, so a piece of carbon must have broke off and went in the cylinder there and scored it up, and you got oil leaking and essentially burning and creating the white smoke, right? So okay, well, that checks out theoretically. So of course, with any engine being taken apart, they always quote you whatever, $5,000, and then all of a sudden it creeps up to $8,000 once they get it open. So we spent about $8,000 getting this thing opened up, put back together, cylinders bored, and oversized pistons, that sort of thing. And we got it back probably in the springtime, and ironically enough, I don't know, between us not really running it too much in the summer times compared to winter ops, we didn't really see any issues for the times that we did use it, right? That could have been a mix of things. That could have been, with being warmer outside and whatnot, and fuel gelling up and that sort of thing. So we kind of eliminated a couple things with it being in the winter ops versus summer ops. Anyways, you fast forward to the first snow call out the following year, essentially, and it kind of starts back up again. At first it was a little bit lighter, nothing too crazy. Especially with the temperatures, it was probably only minus 10 sort of thing, right? So it was still blowing smoke, but definitely wasn't near as much. So we cracked it open, and we said, okay, well, first things first, let's look at this fuel cooler. Okay, so we thought potentially, it's getting colder out, and there's a fuel cooler on it, cooling the fuel essentially, and okay, well, maybe it's gelling the fuel quicker than it should. So we rerouted the fuel line that typically goes into here, back out, back into down in the engine there, and it didn't really help at all. So we're like, okay, what's the next thing? We don't really know. we just kind of forced the operator to keep going, obviously understanding the risk of, engine failure and all that sort of stuff. But, we've got these machines, we have contracts and obligations we have to meet, so what else do you do? I think the operator, was maybe out at 7-Eleven or something like that, getting a taquito, right? Middle of the night, you're hungry. And then he pulled up to the side of the machine and he noticed that this was indented. So I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of funny. I didn't hit anything. So what's going on? And obviously this is the fuel tank. So first natural reaction is to, okay, let's take off this cap, right? And just see what happens. Now, this tank is a pretty thick tank, right? For obvious reasons. And at first it didn't pop back out. But what he did notice when he took it off, give it a few seconds as he was trying to diagnose it himself, he noticed that the smoke stopped. And he's like, okay, well, let's just put that back on, right? Gave it a few seconds, and then it would start smoking again, smoking back up. So he called out to the mechanic, or service tech here, and he's like, hey, I think I've got something. And he showed up, and he obviously showed him what he did, and mechanic did the same thing. But for the rest of the night, he just left the fuel cap loose, right? So he just untwisted it just a little bit, and he gave the guy, okay, just go do your list, I'll follow you. Just make sure the fuel cap doesn't fall off, sort of thing. It is pretty secure on there, so it's not too loose. And ran all night perfectly fine. And at that point, we're talking probably minus 20 degrees, 25 degrees, that sort of thing, Celsius. And so obviously when they finish their shift, they come back here in the shop and they park them. And our shop guy, he looked at the fuel cap, right? Went to go find the parts list. This is brand new, about 120 bucks Canadian. And he's like, okay, well, obviously John Deere green, that makes sense. This fuel cap here, we replaced it once. I paid the 120 bucks to replace it. And it failed again. Right away. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it's not working. So we're like, hey, well, we can't just keep figuring this out. We know it's this cap. It's got to be. So we went on the backside here. I don't know if you can see through there, but essentially there's a kind of a little piece missing out there, and we drilled it out. There's a ball in here that still tries to help protect it and also vent it and that sort of thing. But we drilled it out, and we just put it back on, and it worked. So we tried it on both of our units, the new one here and then the old one that's sitting outside right now. It worked. So I guess what I'm saying is to help save you a few grand from going into the engine thinking that your cylinders scored with carbon buildup and that sort of thing. And try your fuel cooler first, right? And then the next culprit I would say is to look at your fuel cap. I mean, even though that this fuel cooler didn't necessarily solve the problem, I would definitely still take a look at it, because it still would make sense for fuel to gel up, and going through that system, especially when it's minus 35, that's some of the temperatures we're dealing with in Canada here, minus 35 Celsius. It would make sense for fuel to gel up. So with that fuel cooler on. So after that, when you go through that whole system and procedure, check that freaking fuel cap, because that should save you a little bit of frustration. And I can't be the only one dealing with this, because like I said, I got two units. One's an older one, this one's a newer one, and it's the same problem. So I still want to be able to recommend these machines, because they do have their place. They're very, very handy machines. Very handy. I mean, the travel speed you get on them, the implements you get on them, full year capabilities with the mower deck, the rhino blower for fall cleanups, and obviously, like we discussed, is the winter stuff. All around, great machine for versatility, right? Take you guys inside the cab here, maybe check it out. I would say the only downside for us in the summertime is this cab. Pros and cons, obviously you've got heat and AC, you gotta love that, and extreme heats and extreme climates, but the unfortunate part, obviously, you don't get past a lot of clearances, right? I mean, this thing already has quite a few scratches on the roof, from low-hanging branches and that sort of stuff. So it has to be pretty much wide open fields, and that's what we pretty much service with this guy. Looking at the clock here, I know it needs a service here right now. Yeah, it's only got just under 300 hours, so I mean, shouldn't be causing us that much grief. But anyways, great machine. I don't know if you guys have run one. I mean, I'm probably talking to some guys that own some and some guys that are considering to own some, and I would say, you know, outside of the fuel cap issue, the only other things that we experience, I mean, since we do drive these things and walk them quite a bit, is going to be these tires here. So you can fix the camber, but they seem to go out of camber quite often. So you can kind of see it kind of burning down on this edge here. I think they might have actually rotated these ones right now. So typically I think we're going to find it's going to burn off that outer edge a little bit more often and quite fast. So, but we do, like I said, do a lot of walking on them. And the only other pain in the butt is hooking up these attachments here. So these links here are independent from each other, and essentially they're also gravity fed, so they have no back pressure. So when you're trying to hook up this attachment here, you've got two wings and you got an independent linkage system. And what will tend to happen is you've got the operator trying to hook it up, you've got a PTO shaft, you've also got to try and connect here to get your attachment lined up. And they try to make it as easy as possible. You've got your panel here, you open this up, and then you have access to your PTO shaft right there in your collar. So, I mean, they try to make it accessible. But if you can imagine, obviously you're the operator and you're trying to control your levers in the cab, which is a single lever, and you control at the same time. Up will go up at the same time, but to go down you need to put pressure. So typically a guy will be out here pushing down on these things to try and get them leveled off and you know, level between the two ears here, and you know, it kind of just becomes a pain in the butt, to be honest. From the operator's view, you don't got much to go off of, so you're trying to work with somebody on the outside here to try and connect it all in one piece. So it takes a bit of trying to figure that out and some guesswork, and you know, shoving the attachment up to it and pushing down and lifting up. So that's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, I mean, realistically, you got a nice warm cab. You're comfortable, right? I mean, sometimes you just got to get dirty and you got to muscle some stuff on, right? So another thing the operators find useful on these things actually is a little shovel clip here, and I can maybe try and take that in the description, but essentially we just have this little shovel here, goes on this little clip. Try and do this one-handed, maybe not, and anyways, you get the idea. Yeah, it just sits on the back like that, so if the guy ever has to do any manual shoveling out of a tight area just to kind of get it away, for example, I mean, that's a great option just to kind of carry it around. And yeah, I can try and see if I can get that found and put in a link below. If not, then obviously I wasn't successful. But yeah, anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if I helped anybody out, well, I guess hopefully I saved you a few bucks. So with that being said, thanks for watching, take care.